I've been interested in music as far back as I can remember, really. I remember singing hymns at primary school, when I was 5 years old, in the church. When I was about 7 or 8, I went to a local workshop at an opera house, which is near my house. I was very lucky that I had this miniature little theatre hidden in the country where I lived called Clonta Opera, and they showed us lots of acting techniques, and they showed us opera scenes and people singing, and that made me want to go into doing musical theatre and singing on stage. So about 8 years old I started singing on stage in local shows and things like that. I play the saxophone, tenor saxophone mainly, a bit of soprano as well, and piano. Ukulele is another one I play. I started playing the ukulele when I was one of the first instruments I picked up when I was about 11 years old, and I've always found that a fun way of accompanying myself when I'm singing. And I've taught a bit of ukulele as well, which is quite interesting. I always want to say things about different singers that are working at the top levels that I really like to listen to, like Dmitry Vorostovsky, who just passed away last week actually. But it's difficult. They seem like they're on another level. You look at people you think are amazing and they just seem like inaccessible to you, like they're far away, they're some sort of godlike figures that you could never reach up to. I find a lot of inspiration in people who are doing things on my own level, my colleagues, the people who are working to become part of this strange world of singing music that was written so long ago, or even contemporary stuff. People who are trying to strive to be involved in it as I am is probably the most inspirational thing you can find. Recently spent some time singing contemporary operas with Manchester Contemporary Youth Opera, which is very rewarding. Louis Ashton Butler wrote a piece for me called, I sang The Prisoner in his opera, The Ephemeral Legend of the Madman's Handkerchief. I love singing with orchestras, so every time I've been singing with the Philharmonia in London, singing Mahler or something like that, it's a really amazing experience. Also singing jazz with fantastic jazz ensembles is something I used to do a lot when I was a teenager, and I really enjoyed that. That was great fun. I chose opera because it is a combination of all the different things that I find interesting. It's acting and singing, it's poetry and music. It's something the German composer Wagner talked about, the Gesamtkunstwerk, which means total work of art, and he meant it in a specific way, but in another way, opera is a combination of all these different art forms in one. Things like costume and scenery as well, that really allow you to get into character. Also, I love history, so rather than going to study history, I decided that I wanted to be part of it. I wanted to be the 18th century nobleman going after the servants, rather than just reading about it in a book.
If ever I would leave you.
I think people tend to have a very strange and inconceivable attitude and opinion of opera that I don't know where it comes from. I suppose it comes from what people see on TV or something like that, or just there's the idea of the fat lady sings idea, that all opera singers are heavily overweight, which I always find greatly offensive, as I obviously work so hard on my own figure. As you think I don't, but that's not true at all. It's quite a demanding business to be in, and if you don't physically look the part as much as you can, you will not be employed. It's quite cutthroat in a way. Another one is that opera's only for the posh people, elites. People say that it's inaccessible, too expensive. I can tell you right now that I've been to see operas at world-leading opera houses for £9 a ticket.
I know you in autumn.
It's a challenge. It's not an easy process to go about the training. People tend to start their careers very late 20s, early 30s. It is a ridiculously expensive business to be involved in. You're talking undergrad, masters, further education. But if you're really sure you want to do it, the reason you should do it is if people say to you, no, don't do that, that's a terrible idea, like I'm being so pessimistic about it, and you say, no, I have to do it anyway, and be driven towards doing it as a career. It is a career you can take.
Time, summer, winter,